Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And I finally finished the 5 brand new Shadowland stages, and I have to say they were really fun. It was a breath of fresh air to see new enemy types and to learn different strategies and to see different characters shine and have to use specific characters. I feel like these stages are hard. They may be, they may seem harder than they really are at first, because I do believe that a lot of these stages from 32 up to 34 have much more specific requirements for characters than we've ever seen in Shadowland stages. 31, or actually, sorry, 30 is actually not so difficult. 30, you can basically just bring any hero or any sort of loosely fitting type, but from 31 to 34, the number of characters that you can use drastically decreases. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to talk about all of that and give you guys some opinions that I had on the stages, give you guys some tips on characters that you can build up, obviously with a key towards free-to-play and easily farmable characters, and then talk about the rewards. Now, before we talk about the rewards, we also have to talk about the bug. There is a bug with the first clear rewards. Some people just don't see the first clear rewards when they play the stages, and then therefore they cannot get the first clear rewards. So yeah, that sucks. That's a really awful bug to be in the game, and it's frustrating, and it basically just kills some players' motivations to even play Shadowland. Now, I think you can go ahead and clear Shadowland. I wouldn't say don't clear Shadowland. If you don't get the first clear rewards, netmarble will have to compensate you and return those to you at a later point in time. I don't know how they're going to do that, but if you go onto the forum and you look under the known issues for the July update, you will see, and I can try to pull it up now here. It's taking a little while to load, but let's pull it up and find out where it is. July or June issue known issues, June update known issues. And there should be one here. Yes, Shadowland first clear rewards have not been given to some agents. So yeah, this is under investigation. This has not been solved yet. I don't have an answer for you on how you can get those rewards back or anything like that, but I just wanted you to know that the devs know that it's a problem, and presumably they're actively trying to fix it. I was lucky enough to not encounter this problem, so I have my first clear rewards here: the Mega Tier 2 ticket for 35, the Stage 4 type enhancement ticket for the other stage, the Odin's Blessing selector, the level 3 enhancement, mega enhancement potential ticket, and then the 150 CCF is a little bit further down here for, I believe it is stage 31. You get the first clear rewards from 31 up to 35. So let's talk about that. So 30 is pretty straightforward, not really much to talk about there, but 31 is really where you start to find a lot more challenging content. 31 for me, I went with the Magneto stage. You'll see the Beast stage. You might see the villain stage with all of the sort of X-Men villains like Sabretooth and Juggernaut. You might see the Groot stage. I went ahead with the Magneto stage, and it is a 4 character rumble. You have in the front line, you have Magneto, Strife, and Mr. Sinister, and then in the back you have Cyclops. And Cyclops is by far the most annoying character because he has iframe ignore with penetration on his third skill, so he can one-shot a lot of characters. So that is, I think, going to be what you need to bring and how you need to tackle that stage if you want to clear that Magneto stage, because of this skill right here, the laser point strike. It's got penetration. It penetrates everything. Yeah, barrier, shield, everything. It's got penetration and iframe ignore. So what you essentially need to do is you need to bring a tanky enough character who can survive that attack, because sometimes you can't pin him down and sort of crowd control him fast enough, and when he spawns, he'll do it right away if you're an iframe, and he just basically insta kills you. So that was really frustrating. I tried with a whole bunch of characters. Now the tooltip does say speed characters have an advantage, and then it says that the enemies will reflect energy damage, and that's true. So you want to bring a speed physical damage character. However, if you go into the stage and you look on the list of buffs that the enemies have, they also have massive buffs, I believe, against villains. So if you try to bring in a speed, I think it's a speed villain. I don't think speed villains work. Speed heroes do work, but not speed villains. I'm mixing that up. It might be the other way around. But I was able to no, you know what? I think it is. I think you can't use villains. I think you have to use heroes. I think there's a huge penalty to bringing in villains. So you have to use heroes. So the thing, yeah, it is there is a massive penalty against villains. So yeah, unfortunately, there's not that many speed villains. You can do it with speed villains. Maybe it's heroes. I honestly can't remember. But anyways, there's a bunch of characters that can do it. But the most consistent character I found to do it by far was Ronan. Now, it's expensive that you have to build up his uniform here, but he's a really good character for it. He was able to do it for me in basically the very first try. Another good option if you have, you don't have any crystals, Viper was very good. She's very fragile, so it may take a few attempts on that Magneto stage, but she can do it. Darkhawk can almost do it, but then he dies to Cyclops. So that was a really frustrating moment for me. And then a bunch of people told me that Angel can also do it, although I had used Angel on a previous stage, so I couldn't reuse Angel. But a lot of people in chat were telling me that Angel was more than good enough to do it. You could also save Phantom X to do it. Phantom X has healing, and he's got increased damage against villains. So there's lots of great free-to-play options. You just have to go out and farm these characters now if you didn't already have them. But you should have been farming them because they're in the epic quests and things like that. They're not that hard to farm and build up. I tried X23. She was good, but she can die. Her damage can be a little bit inconsistent at times, and she can die even though she has the healing, but that is another option. So there's a lot of speed characters. Most of them are mutants, but some of them aren't. And most of them are heroes, but a couple of them are villains. I imagine that Vulture might not be bad either for that stage, but he might have low damage, but he's good with chaining iframes on 5, 4, and 1. So yeah, that was my experience for the Magneto stage. Very, very hard stage. Probably the stage that took me the longest to beat because of the combination of effects, really forcing you to basically build up a physical damage speed hero who can also survive Cyclops' iframe ignore blast ability. The next stage that's huge is stage 32. And stage 32 is interesting because it calls on the spider sense characters. So when you zone in, you have to go to the unique ability and you have to use spider sense. I ended up using Arachnite. Arachnite is amazing for that stage. However, you can use any of these, I think. I think any of these characters or Arachnite is awesome for that spider sense stage. So basically save one of these characters. I was able to do it with Miles Morales. It was a little bit tricky, a little bit risky. Arachnite was very easy. I basically did it on the very first try. And then I assumed that Spider-Man and 2099 could do it even more successfully because they're just stronger versions of Arachnite minus the heal. Unfortunately, Spider-Gwen cannot do it at all because once you hit stage 30, I believe, or maybe stage 31. Once you hit stage 31 for sure, so 31 and up, all of the stages require level 62 and up characters. And actually, once you get to stage 35, you need level 70 characters. Now, I'm not sure if that will reset for floor 36, if you can go back down and use stage level 62 characters, but just keep that in mind. For stage 31, 32, 33, and 34, you cannot use level 60 characters. You must use 62 and up. 62, 64, 66, 68, 70. Obviously, the higher you go, the more damage you're going to do, the more success you're going to have. And then for the stage 35 against the Daredevil stage, the Daredevil boss, you have to use level 70 characters. I tried 62, I tried 64. It did not work. I was doing damage in the hundreds. It was crazy. So there has definitely been a difficulty spike and a requirement spike added for stages 31 to 35. The first clear rewards definitely make it worthwhile, and you want to build up these characters anyways because they're good for other content. But it's something that if you haven't been playing with it now, if you've been ignoring these characters, then you obviously have to do some catch up, and you're not going to be able to go as far in Shadowland this week for the time being until you unlock some of these characters. But yeah, Arachnite's the most expensive. Well, besides him, Arachnite's the most expensive, but you can get him from Bioselectors, and then of course you can get him from, I believe, the Rift Shop. So Spider-Man is by far the easiest one to rank up. So I would just say save Spider-Man and use him on that Sinister 6 stage. Yeah. And then you'll be just fine, but you do want to pick up one of his newer uniforms. If you're a returning player, you can probably get away with the Infinity War uniform for Spider-Man, but anything below, maybe even the Hobo Spider-Man. You know what? Spider-Man's decent enough with his other uniforms. It is an increase for sure. The newest uniform is definitely the best, either this one or this one, but this one is solid still, and maybe even this one you can get away with doing the stage because I imagine this uniform is still as good as Arachnite, and Arachnite could do it and he has no uniform. So yeah, but Arachnite really shone for me, and I was really impressed with Arachnite's ability to do that. So yeah, and then I think if you have like a super maxed out Silk, you might be able to do stage 32. It's fun. It's very fun and thematic though, so I really enjoyed that. And then you come up to stage 33, and for me, you'll have different stages. You might see like Enchantress and Iceman, or Loki and Luna. I had Luna and Iceman, so there you have to use the unique ability Flame, and you have to choose one of these characters. However, you have to pay attention. For the Luna and Iceman stages, you have to use heroes. So it's not only flame characters, but they also have to be above level 60, and they have to be heroes. So unfortunately, Cosmic Ghost Rider, I believe, is not able to do that stage. Maybe he can, but maybe he can't. I know that Molten Man was doing very low damage. I think he can do it, but it's much, much harder than using a hero. But that leaves a very short list, You have Red She-Hulk, you have Ghost Panther, you have Sunbird, and then you have Human Torch. And the thing is, all three of those characters as heroes, Sunbird, Red, She-Hulk, and Ghost Panther, are all paywall characters. They're all biosubscription characters, unless you get Red She-Hulk for free right now from the Future Pass. So because of that, really the only character that's completely free to play if you're not getting that future, if you're not, for whatever reason, if you missed the Future Pass, or if you're watching this a month from now, would be Human Torch. So that's kind of crazy that that's actually a really restrictive stage, that Luna, Snow, Iceman stage. Thankfully, Human Torch completely one-shots that stage. It's hilariously easy. You just press 3 and hold it, and they die. So again, why you should be farming? Why not? You should be farming all of the Epic Quest characters every single day. You should be pumping energy into that so you can get 10 bios, so you have all of those characters built up simultaneously, because who knows when you're going to need them. Obviously you can use, actually, you know what, there's not many other characters you can use. I was gonna say obviously, but there's really not a lot of other characters that you can use. Even Namor, although he has the uniform, he does not have the flame tag, so you can't even use Namor. Yeah, he has the Phoenix Force tag, not the flame tag. You can't even use Namor or any of the Phoenix Force characters like Colossus, Phoenix Force, Cyclops, etc. Those characters just don't work. So yeah, Human Torch ends up being by far the biggest MVP. But yeah, you work on your Red She-Hulk otherwise, because she'll definitely be able to do that stage. And then we come to the last stage, which is the Cosmic stage before the Daredevil stage. Obviously, this one is against Silver Surfer, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and Thanos. This stage was very interesting because there is an icon that will trigger if they hit you. So we sort of figured this out on the stream. If the enemies attack you and they deal damage to you, and you are not one of the Phoenix, if you don't have the Phoenix Force ability, then they will get a 99% damage reduction. It's a little icon, it's a yellow icon with a muscle on it, with like an arm flexing, and it's a 99% damage reduction. So the crazy thing is, even if you use a Phoenix Force character, you have to be very careful if you are using Magic or Emma Frost. Why? They summon characters. Emma Frost summons clones or like illusions, and Magic summons these little like monsters from another dimension that spit acid. Those summons do not have the Phoenix Force ability. So when Silver Surfer, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Thanos attack those characters, guess what happens? They get a 99% damage reduction buff, and you can no longer complete the stage. Your damage will drop. Like I was doing like 20, 30, 40,000 damage per hit with Magic. I accidentally did her third skill. They attacked my minions. They got the buff. My damage dropped to like 200 or 300 per hit. Yeah. So you have to be very careful. It's a very, very cool thing for them to do. I love this kind of thematic stuff, and I love these sort of technical things that you have to take note of. But yes, if you are using a character that's dealing good damage against that stage, you cannot summon anyone who is not Phoenix Force, because if they get hit, as soon as they get hit, they will trigger that. Now, in addition, if you try to complete or try to cheese this stage with someone who's not Phoenix Force, if they get hit, so in addition to hitting someone who's not Phoenix Force, if they get hit by an attack that's not Phoenix Force, they will also trigger that 99% damage reduction buff. So I tried with, and you can try with other mind control characters, but I tried with Professor X, who can mind control instantaneously. As soon as he hits them, they have the 99% damage buff, or damage reduction buff, and then Professor X can't do any damage to them. So it's a very, very short list of characters. I covered this on the APK, but it's a very short list. Kid Omega is a very easy and semi-farmable target. You can farm him from Danger Room in the boxes, and you can actually, if you get lucky, you can get a ton of bios, because he's one of the sort of regular characters. He's not one of the rare characters. The rare characters being these ones that have the little icons here, and then the ones over here that are just basically after the icon. But everyone before the icon, which starts with Kid Omega, you can get hundreds of bios. So I believe for gold, you get 50 bios of Kid Omega. For platinum, you get 100. Or maybe for gold, you get 100, and platinum, you get 150. So you can get a lot of bios in a hurry, and you get that chest every single week. So you can quickly build him up, and you can also get additional bios for him. And I've shown this before in the processor X Gene. Go over here and do this. You have to use Mcron shards, but there you go. I got two bios of Kid Omega, and there's not that many characters in this one compared to the other ones. So there's like a 1 in 10 chance, or a little bit higher, that you'll get his bios. Otherwise, you should be farming. Like I said, you always got to farm those Epic Quest characters. You should be farming for Cyclops. Go ahead and pick up his Phoenix 5 uniform when it's on sale. Don't rush to pick it up now. The first clear rewards will always be there, but pick up his uniform when you can. I believe I heard that level 66 Cyclops was able to complete that stage 34, so you don't even have to push him all the way to 70. He's a solid character. He's a villain. He's got self-healing. He's got some snare and some iframes and stuff like that. So he's very, very good. If you don't have Kid Omega, if you're not going to buy this uniform, then you're sort of in dire straits here. You could try to get her by playing the Danger Room, just like Kid Omega. You could buy his uniform, I guess, if you have him, or his uniform. But I wouldn't recommend building her up, because she's not a very strong character. Otherwise, you could for fun, but her are the most expensive. Well, these three are the most expensive characters and the hardest to build for this stage. And I would say that these two are the least valuable overall, even after you build them, because they have the least value in other game modes. And then overall, she's probably the lowest value character on this whole thing, because at least Rachel's a striker, and you don't have to buy a uniform for her, and it's not expensive to build up. That was a weird sort of mouth noise that I did. So those are the tips that I had for you guys for the new Shadowland stages. I really enjoyed them, and I can't wait to not only play them again potentially here on these stages, but also to go through them with you next week. And I'll have a video dedicated to showing you guys how I did it. It'll be similar to the APK video, but I will play the characters and explain how I play them. But now you guys know what to do. You should be, aiming to unlock and build up those characters. Angel, Phantom X, maybe not Arachnite, but maybe Miles Morales or Spider-Man. You've got Human Torch. You've got Cyclops, Kid Omega. You should be focusing on those characters, A, to build them up to tier 2, and then build them past level 60. And then B, don't use them. I saw a lot of people posting, oh man, I used Spider-Man on stage 27, now I can't use him. Oh no, I used Cyclops on stage 25, what do I do now? So yeah, definitely remember, sort of, give yourself, write down a note or something, make note of it, so you don't accidentally use these characters this week or next week beforehand, and then not be able to use them on these stages in Shadowland. I personally, as just a final thing here, I personally love these new Shadowland stages. I think we need more of them, and I think we need them to add every couple of months new Shadowland stages. So I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Where did my... Okay, they're down here. I would love to see them add Shadowland stages every other update. Every update would be amazing if they could add like 5 stages, but if they could add 5 stages every other update, it would keep Shadowland fresh, and it would push those static stages up higher, so that we have a progress route, and it sort of becomes like a map where you have to use these specific groups of characters, and it'll become a really fun thing. Last but not least, before we go here, I would recommend saving the potential enhanced ticket and the type enhanced ticket, but then for the Odin's Blessing, a lot of people have asked me what's the best Odin's Blessing to choose. Usually when I approach these, the best to me is the ones that are the rarest. So the rarest Odin's Blessing is Strike, because you cannot farm it from any world boss. The second rarest one is Magic, because you can only farm it from Supergiant, and there is no Supergiant World Boss ultimate. There's only Supergiant World Boss, so your Conqueror XP is very small, so it would take you months of playing Supergiant every single day, not getting tier 3 materials. It's a huge waste of time, so it's basically just as rare as Strike. Besides these two, and by the way, these are double physical attack, double energy attack. What a coincidence that the strongest Odin's Blessings are the ones that are the rarest. Besides those two, it's really up to you. But the other ones are farmable, and never, ever, ever, never choose balance, because it's the worst one. So yeah, those are my tips for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the new Shadowland. Let me know if you have any other tips, any other characters that you recommend, especially ones that are free to play friendly. And I will have more guides for you on Shadowland coming in the future. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Take care again.